it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing in on getting real and how to really move to the other side of a woundedness from a narcissistic individual, a spouse, or a parent or family member. And this is coming in response to a viewer inquiry about how to deal with narcissistic parenting, as well as an interesting concept as to what if the parents are loving and the child is narcissistic. So we're going to address that here in this video. And I want to give a quick shout out to a viewer who paid a compliment and an inquiry on some of the cosmetic lip color that I wear, and that is I do a NYX is called lingerie. There's a retailer here in the States called Ulta, and they have a great brand called NYX lingerie, and it's a nude called LIPLI. So that is the lip color. And she also inquired about the highlighter, or going out in the out of doors. As you know, I do a lot of videos outdoors, and when it's very cold, she's like, don't you doesn't your skin get dry? And I just wanted to let you know I use a wonderful oil, and even the guys can probably do this too, because I know a lot of the guys are getting into skincare as well. And it's called MONOI oil, Monoi oil, MONOI oil. It's an antioxidant facial serum that I use, and it's very protective, and it's not sticky at all like in the weather. And I know a lot of guys are getting into skincare and things as well, for kind of like a protection and a nutrient. And so there's a retailer in the States called Marshall's and TJ Maxx who offers these wonderful oils. They're all natural. It's a brand by Sonoma Naturals, Monoi oil. So I would highly recommend it. So yes, that's how I'm able to kind of go outdoors, and it doesn't feel tight or like sore or things like that. So yes, so thank you for your inquiry and your compliments. I really appreciate your viewership and your support. And anyway, let's move on. So we are discussing, furthermore, the impact of woundedness from a narcissistic individual, especially a narcissist who has love bombed, created a lot of giving, or has a tendency to overindulge. It does create a violation of boundaries, which in essence is experienced by the supply as a sense of intrusion. So when we talk about intrusion, there's again the narcissistic treatment of an other as not a separate self. And this sounds very strange. How can somebody who's an individual not be a separate self? How can they not have an authentic self? How can they not be validated? Well, the issue and the woundedness comes very much in that where they are not acknowledged, and they are not mirrored back. They are not even there's a complete lack of awareness of this of this individual as being their own self, as being their perhaps even different, having their own values, their own take on things, their own experience, their own sensitivities, their own strengths. And so what oftentimes occurs that when this does not happen, when the other is not acknowledged for having their own opinion, their own perspective, their own value on things, their own take on things, that there tends to be this violation of boundaries, this oceanic experience with the narcissist at the helm, and everybody else is just kind of like paddling along, and they don't have that rudder in life to kind of like help, direct the boat. They can't navigate. They don't have that, that leverage as part of being their own leverage, which I mean having a perspective or a rootedness to kind of direct the water. If you've ever been boating, and a rudder is kind of like the wood thing in the back of the boat, and when you move it, it tends to create the direction of the boat. And so if you're paddling along and you move the rudder, it's going to turn the boat this way or that way. Yet the supply feels like that they don't have that rudder, they don't have that direction to help create kind of their perspective, their own viewpoint, their own position. And so they kind of feel like the rudder, they feel rudderless in life. They feel that life is just kind of swooping them along and moving them along, and they don't feel that they have that that ability to speak up or be acknowledged. They feel voiceless, invisible, and I know a lot of people have stated that. But what this originally comes from, and I think you can understand that it comes from being imposed upon. So in essence, a lot of people call it a lack of innocence. When you've been imposed upon, when you've been violated, or your boundaries from a narcissistic individual who treats you as an extension of them, rather than being, valued for your own perspective and your own values, and not being shamed or shunned for having these, which you should not feel embarrassed about. You should not feel invalidated for having your own viewpoints and sensitivities. Oftentimes you have a lot to contribute to the family. You have a lot to contribute to others in your life, but you're not able to see this. So a lot of people feel, that they are, almost invisible. They experience this as being depersonalized. They experience this as feeling not a real person, or not a whole person. And again, it's that lack of validating of the authentic real self that it causes this on a neurological, spiritual level, where you feel invisible. And so, of course, we can talk about this and how this has occurred. So, of course, I want you to understand the why of how this has occurred and the why. But I want you also very much to understand, how to get to the other side of it, which is the whole goal of this channel. And this, again, is the importance of the steps that we take to reclaiming your authentic self, your real self, in your values and things of that nature. And so oftentimes, you need to experience this struggle or this work, doing the recovery journal, struggling, to articulate your voice, your values, what you find interesting, what you're attracted to, what is the real you. So not only the values that were perhaps encouraged or implemented or emphasized from the narcissist. So, for example, the narcissist might have instilled values in you that reinforce them and not reinforce you. So if you see this occurring, it's very important to pull back the reins, get a sense of awareness of yourself, your own boundaries, the I am, realizing that you have your own values or sensitivities that you enjoy, that you connect to in life, and getting a chance to express those. Oftentimes you need to do that on paper. You need to write this out. You need to have this then validated, because it's very much like there's a little underdeveloped individual within you that needs to be that needs to cry out, that needs to say I love, that needs to say I embrace, that needs to say I connect to, I relate to, I love you. And and being able to say that I love the authentic part of you, I love the real part of you, and to do this to others without feeling scared, without feeling intimidated, without feeling like they're going to be overwhelmed, by this connection, and having this, this experience of quiet serenity and peace when you're with others, and that you're not going to get engulfed by others, but that you can share from that authentic self, and that you're not going to be overwhelmed to try to please them. So it's very much an idea of, going back to pleasing the self, honoring the self. And it's not about being selfish. It's about reclaiming and being empowered and reclaiming your own individual perspective and values, and then being able to live from those and communicate those and share those with others, which give you that experience and validation, and something that you can trust, something that you can have an experience without feeling guilty, which was, perhaps guilted from a narcissistic other, without feeling fearful, without feeling like you're going to lose. You're not going to lose by sharing with others, because oftentimes in a narcissistic or psychopathic relationship, there's a winner and there's a loser. And, and to feel that you're not going to lose yourself, your perspective, your values by communicating and communing with others is very much the goal, which is, again, it is a working through procedure that you do through the recovery journal, through that brain drain, through the I want, through the articulation of your own values. These will help unfreeze you. These will help liberate you. These will help you come back into the flow of life and really that more productive, expressive part of yourself that doesn't need to feel threatened, that doesn't need to be shunned, that doesn't need to be scolded, that doesn't need to be looked down upon for existing. And if you are in the presence of others who do this, realize that this is adding to the woundedness and you need to get away from those people. You need to stop that and realize that you do not need to take on that woundedness, that you've had enough of this really, more than is necessary in your life. And it's very important to stop that woundedness from occurring and again, reclaim your own right to your perspective and then identify that with your metacognition and then move forward in life. Pursuing of your values and dreams and liberating these and living these on a moment-by-moment basis. This will help you keep authentic and empowered. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.